Yo, what is good everybody? It's your boy Tej, and today I'm be showing y'all how to make a dark and ambient beat for Gucci Mane, 21 Savage, pooh, shiesty. So the type of vibe I was going for on this beat was probably something similar to a sample that would be made by cubeatz, that real dark ambient type of piano and flute melody. And I'm be showing y'all how to make the entire thing from scratch. So I'll be breaking down my process of making the loop and adding the drums to it. If you haven't been caught up with the channel recently, we just hit 1K subs, and as part of my thank you, I released a free sample kit, and I'll be leaving the link to that in the description, so be sure to go check that out. As always, I'll have the finished beat played at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. And with all that out of the way, let's just hop right into the beat. Starting off with our FLP where we made the sample, the tempo that I have here is 130 beats per minute, which is just the default in FL Studio. But if there was a range that I wanted to recommend for these type of beats, I think it could really be anywhere between 120 to up to 150. So now starting off with our first melody sound, I got this chrome flute preset in Analog Lab in this Drown of the Void sample bank. I had a melody idea in mind. I just kind of hummed it out and drew in the notes using the pencil tool, and I used the C# minor scale. So real quick tip, if you want to see the notes of your scale that you're working with in your piano roll, you can go to this arrow right here, left click on it, and go down to view, and then go to scale highlighting, and then you can select which type of scale you want. So for this, it's in minor, and then go back to the same menu right here and select C#. So now you can see the C# note is highlighted on the left side right here, and all of the lighter gray spaces in the piano roll are showing notes which fit this specific scale. So this is really helpful if you're still kind of learning your scales and music theory. It really helps with making melodies and being able to fill your ideas out really easily. So the melody that I ended up putting in was just something I heard in my head, and I kind of penciled it out, and I imagined it to be fairly repetitive. And then I just took that same 8-bar pattern and I pasted it over and I put it up an octave. And for that sound, when I put it into a mixer track, I just left it dry. All I did was just level it. And then after that, I opened up Omnisphere and I got this LA Custom Wash piano preset from Keyscape. And I put in this real simple bass pattern below here. With that preset, I put in this real basic, like low piano note pattern. And this is just to facilitate more of that like dark, kind of haunting vibe. I started out with a root note in the scale, so C#. And then for my next note A, all I did is I moved it up to the 6th in the scale. So counting up the lighter gray spaces from C#, we can see that we get all the way up to A here. I thought it was a little high, so I pitched it down an octave, so that's why it's below the C#. I pretty much had the same thing for the second half, except for the 8th measure, I just pitched it up to the next scale degree up after A, which was B. And I took all those notes and I pitched them down an octave and lowered the velocities on them because I didn't want too much of that muddy, rumbly sound in it. So now pairing this with our original flute melody, and for that second sound, similar to the first one, I just left it dry when I put it in the mixer track. I didn't add anything to it. I cloned my Omnisphere in the channel rack and just took that same Wash piano preset, and I just put in this kind of repetitive piano melody, and I just used the C note as my sort of basis. So notice the notes here are just kind of alternating around the G#. The G# is just consistently hitting on like the and beats on pretty much most of the measures. And so that was the melody without effects. So putting it into a mixer track, I put this EQ on it just to cut out some of the key noises. And then I put on a halftime on the 1/4 loop setting and just kept everything else the same. Now that same repetitive key melody sounds something like this. And then putting that together with all of our other melodies. From there, I rendered out all the different melodies as audio clips, put the loop together and rendered it out. Opening up my new project file here, I threw in the loop and I time stretched it to whatever it was at 130 beats per minute. And then I changed the tempo and moved it up to 139 BPM. And then I also changed the pitch and moved it up by 200 cents or 2 half steps. So the new key of the beat is now D sharp minor. So like the last 18 tutorials I've made, I started off by putting this combo clap that is going to be in my upcoming drum kit. And I just put in a very simple clap pattern, just the third beat of every measure. So next I added this hi-hat sound right here. I believe this is from a MIDI pack. For beats like this, the type of rolls that you probably want to go for are using this 1/3 step magnet setting tool and using that paintbrush and just brushing in those rolls. And as you can see, a lot of the velocities are shifted too, just to kind of give the hi-hat some extra bounce. I threw that hi-hat sound into a mixer and I put on some Effectrix and it just looks kind of something like this. This is just one of my own personal Effectrix presets. Next I added the first of my 2 open-at sounds. This is just hitting on the second beat of the 2nd and 6th measures. My other open-at pattern is just alternating with this one, so it hits in the same spot but instead on the 4th and the 8th measures. And this is the other open-at pattern that I put in. And then right after that, I put in this snare pattern right here. And this snare pattern is using the 1/2 step, and once again just use the paintbrush tool to just kind of draw in my rolls like so. And one of the snare rolls that I've been using a lot recently is this one right here. This is using the 1/4 step snapping and using it almost similar to like a reverse 808, except you're kind of rising the snare into the one that you're focusing on. It sounds something kind of like this. If you want to have some uniqueness and some more bounce in your drums, definitely change the velocities in the snares. It'll make them sound a little more unique and more interesting. And then lastly, added the 808 pattern. I wanted to keep it pretty simple for this one. I didn't want to add too many crazy rolls or anything. The only thing fancy that I really added was this kind of reverse 808 sound right here. And it's similar to the snare and how you construct it. You just go to the 1/4 step snapping and then just use the paintbrush tool and draw in the notes like so. And then just rise up the velocities. Alright, so that's pretty much all I got. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you're able to take something away from it. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more tutorial videos like this, be sure to hit subscribe. As always, leave any feedback or recommendations in the comments below. And that'll be it for me. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.